And I'm like, my controversial non-political opinion is that it's overrated.
Wrong.
This is such a, I think that this is
like extremely political.
Welcome to the Young Turks coverage of the State of the Union. Cenk Uygur and Kasparian, John Iadarola with you guys. Is this going to be awesome?
Probably not.
Maybe, but that's what I was going to say. Maybe not.
I'm going to side with Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I side with you guys too. And why? Why do we say that? Because apparently it's supposed to be his longest one, and that brother can drone on. Okay, and it's from one drone to another. But So buckle up, brace for impact, but we're gonna carry you through it here. We'll do play-by-play. We'll try to talk through some of the pauses in his speech, and there'll be for applause. And most of the Democrats are boycotting. We'll fill you in on a couple of details. Rokan has brought one of the Epstein survivors. Mark Kelly is showing up for a specific reason, Democratic senator from Arizona. We'll try to give you all those details as we go. Afterwards, we'll have an analysis right away with the three of us. Obviously, Anna and I do the Young Turks. John does Damage Report. John also does Young Turks on Fridays. Make sure you're checking out Damage Report. You can check it out on YouTube and all the places that we're on. And it's live every day at 1 o'clock Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so I think I figured out why the Democrats aren't showing up. But first I want to check with the producers. It's not started yet? Okay, when it starts, we'll go to the corners. We're in the shaking hands period of the State of the Union, but honestly, I love that. And Bart and Marissa, if they're about to announce the president, even if it's Trump, I love that part. So bring the sound up for that. So is that the door they were trying to break through on January 6th? Anyway, probably was actually. So. Okay, I figured out why the Democrats aren't coming. I figured it out between our show, Anna, and now. You guys ready for my theory on this?
What's that?
Okay, at first what's their stated reason? Their stated reason is, Trump is so uniquely evil and bad, we can't show up. That would only encourage him. I never understood that. You can go and boo. You could go and have a different reaction. I would definitely go. I don't understand not going. Okay, so then. As I was reading some of the articles, I was like, oh, they don't want to get caught on the Iran war applauding or not applauding. That's my guess, okay? Because their donors want them to stand up and be jubilant about the attack against Iran, and their voters hate it. So if they're all sitting in their seats when Trump says, Iran is a danger and we have to knock it out for beloved Israel.
They might actually increase their popularity.
Right, but then their donors will be furious, right?
Yeah.
So guys, at this late date, I know a decent amount of politicians, no, they're still obsessed with like, oh, the donors, the Israel-loving donors. Look, this poll came out like a million years ago. 92% of Democrats are already concerned about it, or think that Israel went way too far in Gaza. And we can't move most of the Democratic politicians.
John Fetterman is in attendance. He decided to wear his big boy pants and put on a suit for the occasion. So there is at least one Democrat there.
Mark Kelly's also there, so there's two.
Okay.
And Fetterman, that goes towards my theory. Fetterman doesn't mind going, but
same with Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, because when the Iran war comes up, he's gonna be like, yes, vote for Israel, and maybe he'll bring an Israeli flag and wave it. I mean, is Richie Torres going? Probably him too.
I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I mean, he's just as bloodthirsty as the Israelis are when it comes to Iran. So I'm not surprised at all that he'd be there. Look, everything we're seeing in the media right now in regard to previews of Trump's speech seem to focus on additional tax cuts for the rich and corporations.
Thank God.
Allegedly tax cuts for like personal tax cuts, we'll see. He's trying to set the record straight on his deportation policies and immigration. There hasn't been anything officially stated about Trump touching on Iran, but I would be shocked if he didn't. Yeah. So we'll see.
There's actually a theory that we're going to launch the attack against Iran during the State of the Union.
I have that theory.
Yeah, I don't know if I think it's more than 50% chance, but I think that there's certainly a possibility. He'll definitely talk about it. He's gonna play up how easy Venezuela was, ignoring, of course, the long-term or even short-term ramifications of it. It's all hunky-dory, we bombed them, now we own the country. He's probably gonna announce the next couple of countries he wants to take over or whatever, and I think Iran is, in his mind, is an easy villain. You just bring it up and everybody will be against it because he doesn't care about the polls. He doesn't get that people aren't actually interested in that war. Yeah, but I could see an announcement that the bombs have already dropped at a certain point. Yeah. By the way, I looked it up. His last State of the Union was 1 hour and 39 minutes. Bring it back up, guys.
Oh my God, why did I say yes to this?
Okay, so that was 135. Hold on, here we go.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
It's so, by the way, my theory is just a theory, but it's such a Democratic thing to not show up to a speech because you're waffling on whether to applaud or not on some issues.
Because you're cowards.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So Senator Thune is right behind him from South Dakota. He's the new majority leader in the Senate. I say new because Mitch McConnell's been there for approximately 240 out of the 250 years that we've been a union. So it's very rare for the Republicans to have a leadership change. That's Steve Scalise, who's part of the House leadership. Mike Johnson will be sitting behind Trump. So Scalise is the most senior member of the House on the Republican side that isn't sitting on stage, basically. Scalise is also the one who got shot at that softball game by the one angry Bernie supporter in the world. Or weirdo, deranged Bernie supporter. Xerox6085 writes on Twitch, Trump will have a big red button to push and start the war. I'm glad you didn't say that before the speech because I bet he would have loved that idea. Like he literally might have done that if you had given them the idea. Mark Kelly says that he showed up just to tell Trump, effectively, symbolically, so you try to have me arrested and you couldn't do it and I'm still here, which is nice. That's a good message, right? Yeah. And of course, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Jeanine Pirro trying to prosecute 6 Democrats that Donald Trump wanted to lock up because they're his political opponents. They're the ones who made the videos, along with Mark Kelly, about, hey, don't follow illegal orders. And they couldn't get a grand jury to indict any of them. In fact, in law, the saying is you can indict a ham sandwich. Yep. Since there's no defense in a grand jury, it's nearly guaranteed. It's just the prosecutor saying this is a really bad guy. You gotta, indict him. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean you convict. It just means indict. So you go to a trial, right? The grand jury was unanimous in opposing the indictments. I've never seen that in my entire life, covering the law, being a lawyer. Never even heard of such a thing. That's how crazy that case was.
It's good that our cases get judged by a jury of our peers.
Yeah, that's true. There's a Supreme Court. Is he going to yell at them?
I think at some point during the speech, I think he will. I think there's a chance that John Thune gets attacked during the speech for not being in favor of taking out the filibuster to pass the SAVE Act.
That's interesting.
I also think his style is one of the things that's, again, undercutting him in that perhaps if he had just had Jeanine Pirro or Pam Bondi or whatever go after some of his political opponents and he pulled like a Biden and never weigh in publicly, maybe it would have had a better chance of actually working. But he makes it so obviously malicious, the targeting of them, that I think it makes it easier for the grand jury to reject it.
And there's Fetterman shaking his hand.
He makes me sick.
He really does. Peter Welch is there. That's a senator from Vermont. One of the few good progressives. So I paused there because really none of them do anything. But Peter Welch is a fine guy. He's among the better Democrats. That's maybe damning with faint praise, but he is. Vermont has the 2 best Democratic senators, obviously. That's like the road warriors. At least for the Democrats, it's as good as it gets. And there's Vance and Mike Johnson, obviously. Trump applauds himself. Trademark too long red tie. Okay, and smug look before. Just give the speech. It's already going to take forever. We're already 10 minutes in, and not a word has been said. You know what he's doing? He's soaking in the applause. He's unbearable. Just go to the lectern and start
speaking. He might fear this is his last one. Maybe he wants to soak in the experience and might not experience another.
That, to your point, John, they keep talking about, he keeps talking about his own mortality. So whatever was wrong with his hand and other things that are going on, it's got him spooked. What is wrong with him? Why will you not speak? Why are you not speaking? Like, I haven't seen a president.
Why he's there.
I literally have not seen, maybe I'm misremembering, but we've covered almost all of these for the last 20, 25 years, right? I don't remember a president's just sitting there.
I have a theory. I think that whoever wrote his speech is like, the affordability thing has gotten so bad that you have to acknowledge mistakes you've made. And his body is physically rejecting going to give that speech.
Members of Congress have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
And here we go again. Oh, God. So this is the part that's exhausting, right? So obviously here we'll try to speak during the applause, and apparently there's going to be a lot because it's just almost only Republicans there. USA, USA. I'm surprised they're not chanting Israel, Israel.
Tel Aviv.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States.
For the first time, the President and the First Lady brought different guests to the State of the Union. Oh, are we really doing this? Like Melania needs a standing ovation?
Everybody go see her documentary.
Embarrassing.
Second Lady of the United States.
Yeah, some of the Gorkers won't like that. Solidarity Works says gummies and 90 proof spirits called for. Hear, hear.
Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back. Bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
I don't think he's going to play well.
Of course he's not going to receive.
He desperately needs to. That is the only way.
No, look at that. There's a bunch of Democrats there. What happened to the boycott? That's interesting. I thought it was going to be most of them.
5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America.
There's nothing independent about America. We are totally controlled by a foreign government, and that's the government of Israel. Don't let anyone lie to you about that. Just take a look at where our resources go and where Trump's priorities lie.
That might go on an ad one day when he said we're going to get better and better because we're not.
12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
No one believes that. That comes across really flat, doesn't it? Because before, like MAGA used to believe it, right? But we are about to go to war in Iran. AI is about to devastate our jobs. The prices are still up. Like, I'm not sure anybody knows what he's referring to. Yeah. That's Al Green. Now he's getting escorted out again. Yeah. So he did this last time Trump spoke to Congress. Well, that's a Republican tearing his sign.
Where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today our border is secure.
There. Oh, Randy, disgusting fine.
Today our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before.
Yeah, we made like 50,000 jobs last year.
And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before.
Your hair's looking a little pink, bro.
Yeah, it's looking super pink. Thank you for pointing that out.
I thought Republicans didn't like pink hair. What's going on?
Yeah, interesting. Jaylee said, Anna, you said yes to this because you love us and we're going through the struggle together.
I do love you guys, that's for sure.
In which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked. We now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
Progressive Fossil Fuel says, I'm going to live vicariously through TRT's sarcasm and satire tonight. We're here for you, brother. There's Hegseth. He wants to add $500 billion to the Defense Department.
Months, zero
military is stacked.
illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States.
Newsflash.
Kristen Helm behind Hexit. She killed the puppy earlier tonight.
But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
Low energy tonight.
Just start clapping after every sentence.
Yeah, little, but it gives us time to talk. He feels a little Jeb exclamation point tonight.
The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year.
Surprised he didn't say 560%. Oh my God, this is going to be exhausting.
And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
Look, if the strategy of just telling people you're wrong about your economic situation was going to work, it would have worked over the last 6 months when he kept doing it.
It would have worked with the Biden administration and Kamala Harris regurgitating the same BS. No, the economy wasn't doing great. Yeah, I totally agree.
Under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster. It is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
For like 8 months now, $1.99, over and over. It keeps dropping below $2.
When I was in Iowa, I went and got my hair done. Look, they went a little unconventional. We went pink. Okay.
Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast. And the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year.
Interest rates are going down, so
and
the mortgages are going down a little bit.
Solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both.
Don't feel rich. You can take my equity. Build more housing, please. Build more housing.
And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that.
The Dow.
Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe.
People might have said some of that, and literally that number is made up, but yeah, CEOs can tell him a number.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren and Chris Coons there.
Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes.
Somebody told me that. If somebody told me that number must be true.
We were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest.
Yeah, that war's gonna be so hot.
But for a person who's struggling, who might even have voted for him, to see a room full of rich people cheering about how the status quo is amazing and doesn't need to improve,
as thousands of
is
new
insulting.
businesses are forming and factories, plants, and laboratories are being built. We have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching.
I definitely don't believe it because the BLS report revised jobs from 2015 down by 1 million.
From our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil.
Some of that oil for Israel, of course.
So calling them a friend.
Yeah,
that is great.
To John's point, he's trying to brag that housing prices are high. People are not happy about that.
I promise to drill, baby, drill.
He said housing prices being so high is a huge problem. He's like, no, it's not. We'll pretend that it's a good thing. And yeah, I suppose if you own a house, that it might be a little bit good for you. But the problem is that people can't buy houses
today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today, and 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
Oh, I didn't think he was going to go in that direction. Yeah,
he will.
Yeah.
He'll say it.
But I mean, he's bragging about firing a lot of public employees.
We ended DEI
It's also
in
not
America.
true. They had to rehire a bunch of people.
No, you didn't. He didn't end DEI. Are you kidding me? People are getting arrested for their political speech on Israel. You didn't end DEI. It's now on steroids.
Yeah.
He's trying to deport people for being critical of a foreign country.
Number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps.
You didn't lift them off of food stamps, you just denied them food stamps.
That's hilarious.
That is a very, very different thing.
Well, if you pull the rug out from under them, they're not on it anymore.
So there's a couple of billionaires on the cabinet that you just saw.
Yeah.
The state of our union is
pedophilic.
Strong.
I thought he was going to say the state of our union is wrong. Okay, so those billionaires got up and they're like, yeah, no more food stamps for the poors. Yeah, we get to keep more of your money. More tax cuts for the rich. Yeah. Lutnick and
our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it.
Where are we winning?
People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
All right, so they came, the women did not because Trump insulted them and said he basically didn't want them. So they're like, all right, great, and very happy not to come.
In Trump's defense, I don't think they would have come anyway.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
That whole rant that's insane. He is massively underwater with independence, and he's ranting about how he needs to take the foot off the gas because we're winning too much.
These are all going to be in ads, potentially.
Can we just acknowledge how fun curling looks? I mean, it looks, it's boring to watch it, but doing it looks fun.
Think about if you were drinking while doing it.
No, think about if you were high and you're in your cleaning mode.
No, I think about it like, anyway. That movement, it's kind of like a stabby movement, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'd like to brush out all the politicians that way.
Oh, that's definitely a lot better than what I have.
No, don't be stabby. Okay, so guys, to John's point, in order for the speech to be successful, as to connect with the people at home, just on the Young Turks earlier today, we showed he's minus, what was it, 27 with independents. That is a horrific number. Minus 27 with independents. That is worse than Trump has ever been. That's worse than Biden ever was. So he's got to win them back. And if
he doesn't think he needs to.
Yeah, and when they're struggling and they've already gotten disenchanted with Trump and the Republicans, saying, "Oh, we're tired of winning," is almost rubbing it in their face.
Yeah,
that is not effective. Like when he does it and he had all of MAGA on his side, it felt very different. Now it looks out of place and ridiculous.
Yeah, and actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
He literally said they're not going. Is he literally just gonna lie?
Like, I think he might have edited at that line. He's like, no, Stephen, we need to lie in every line. Can we say that the hockey team didn't win gold, but platinum? Okay. So I don't know if the women's hockey team changed their minds or whatever, but this whole like celebratory mood, he thinks is good marketing. And if you just market well enough, the people will like you.
And I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck.
He's a hell of a player.
What was the vote thing that he's talking about?
I don't get it either.
Yeah, look, they won. That's awesome. And I get that showing us winning at something when people feel like we're losing is probably a good call. But this is a very long time that he's spending on this.
Yeah.
For one team.
They're trying to make it like a patriotic kind of mood. So
I think he just likes the gold. I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, is that one of my gold cards? How many gold cards have we sold so far?
Gold, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. You practice that, or was that a little lucky?
Can we please get a move on? Like, what is this?
That question.
Anna, nobody's suffering. We can afford to just play patty cakes for a while.
That the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case, my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given, and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
So he also gave a Presidential Medal of Freedom to Miriam Adelson, because the Adelson family gave him $337 million.
She was figure skating, right?
Yeah, thereby totally ruining the Presidential Medal of Freedom. If they're giving it away to donors and ones that betray our country, then it isn't worth that much. This brother's great hockey player. I'm super happy we won the gold.
Very great, the best. And I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no. And every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much.
The vote is one giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
To one of the players.
Who would vote no? What kind of a jerk would vote no? Oh, you're giving it to one of us or to the goalies? No, I don't like that guy, no. Okay, maybe he just wanted to win an easy election.
I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles.
This section on the Olympics is longer than other presidents' speeches in State of the Union. Oh, that's an LA Democrat that has to get up for that?
Yeah, do a better job representing your district. So how about that?
Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country.
We're going to be invaded.
Yeah, does that mean he's going to bring the National Guard and the Marines to LA for the Olympics?
And this year,
I mean, they might be in the Olympics anyway.
I got him in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place, and now I've got him because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news.
Yeah, we already knew that. Okay, Eric wrote in, that's what Eric was stuck in the back of my mind. Thank you for correcting it. He said, I think it was minus 47 with independence and minus 27 overall.
27
He's
overall,
right.
yeah.
The heroes who have kept it free, men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard, He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
He was in Manila pushing the envelope in fighting as hard as he could. He's 100, can he get up? That's the main question. Oh, I think he barely, oh no, there he is. Oh, they showed the wrong guy. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, that brother's 100, he looks great. He's 100?
Yeah, he looks good for 100, he looks better than Trump. Wise choice, by the way, to take somebody who served in the Pacific Theater. It would be bad optics to have someone who had a living killing Nazis.
You're a brave man, and we salute you.
They don't want to show that.
Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one? As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClament closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class, and he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
Are we going to war with Iran or not?
Yeah. Well,
stop wasting our effing time.
The fact that there was a scandal coming out of that the response to that flooding was delayed by Kristi Noem's mismanagement of DHS.
Yeah, and I think that part of the reason why they're featuring the old veteran is, and this a bunch of people in the military is, hey, the military's great. We're about to use them in Iran. Remember, support the troops. So that
I do support the troops. I don't think they should be fighting Israel's war in Iran. Well, that's the ultimate form of showing your support for troops, not forcing them to fight a war on behalf of a foreign country.
The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something.
It's almost like the climate's changing.
Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
Derek A. Rob also on Super Chat said minus 47 with independence. Vijay said, who cares about hockey? The Dow's up. Sid Life said, I love Anna Cenk. She's the voice of reason. Absolutely love her and pray for her. Well, we appreciate that, Sid Life.
Thank you.
And Diane Lajewski, thank you for the Super Chat.
I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you.
All right, God bless. There's nothing wrong with this guy. There's wonderful, terrific, happy that he's getting the Legion of Doom or the Legion of Boom honor or whatever it is. Legion Sherman's going to be very happy.
The people of our country, the people are amazing. And capable of doing incredible things. And it just breaks my heart that we don't have leadership that represents us.
Yeah.
If he dies in Iran, I'll be so mad.
1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern.
Epstein files.
Yeah. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America.
It is, you mentioned it, it's wild to see him giving this speech from the room his supporters broke into, trying to stop him from being thrown out.
By passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans.
So more tax cuts for the rich. They're, of course, standing ovation. They're almost all rich. They all got a huge tax cut. Some in the cabinet probably saved tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars.
I think probably, yeah.
Yeah, from the tax cuts.
Every single one of them voted against these really important and very necessary, massive tax cuts.
That's actually the best ad he could do for Democrats.
They're standing. Hey, he's getting cheering from them.
Large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead.
Yeah, we call those tariffs.
But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Those were the crumbs we threw at you as we gave away literally trillions to the wealthiest people in the country.
There are also massive exaggerations of what was actually in the bill.
1.1 trillion alone to people making above 500,000 a year.
Loans, tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
Yeah, the country is so excited about those tax cuts.
Yeah. And he also killed the subsidy for EVs based on his bizarre right-wing culture war politics, making it much harder for people to afford those. And those were American-made cars too.
Homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and her expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half.
And my Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, his bill was also cut in half, so he saves $2 billion.
Not only that, the no tax on tips is means tested and will expire, I believe, in 2 years.
But the rest of the tax cuts for the rich will not expire.
Permanent, yep.
We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it.
No, of course you didn't name it, no.
He doesn't need to. Everybody knows how vain he is. They'll name it for him.
Just picked it out of a hat.
But I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the 3rd row.
Don't know who he is. He's tall though.
Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children.
Overall, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Trump accounts. I think it's actually could be a good government program. Start, saving for savings account for the kids, etc. It's actually one of his more left-wing policies.
I have big problems with it. First of all, programs like that already exist. Also, it's designed to make it seem as if we've covered it. You invest your money in the stock market, which brings our stock prices up. We make money off. It's not gonna be enough. You put $2,000 in there to send you to UCLA someday. It's not, but then they get to pretend, hey, we fixed it, we gave you the accounts, we don't need to do anything. We don't need public free college. We don't need to get rid of student loan debt. I feel like it's just a massive dodge.
Tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, John, I hear you, but 2,000 is a pretty good start, and it does accumulate. Like, you're not wrong about the critique of it, but it is among his better programs because at least there's some value in it, and at least it doesn't just go to the very wealthiest.
It's scraps for the working class.
These young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000.
That's their answer for everything. It's the health savings accounts are the only health care plan we need. Education savings account is the only education policy we need.
It started with nothing. Over 100,000, could be much more than that.
Right.
To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. They're setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. So proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. Now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule.
And that's why nobody bring up pedophilia. By the way, I should have mentioned this. I said that he was exaggerating on the no tax stuff. He continually says the no tax on Social Security. They did not do that. He promised it. It was in his list of things he tweets about. They didn't do it at all. And he's still claiming that they did.
On a national security basis, everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly. And 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't.
Oh, look, Epstein's
buddy.
buddy.
They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
Very unfortunate. Now we show the Supreme Court.
But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without.
He's also continuing to pretend that they're the one paying it, and polls have shown that people do get that they are the ones that are paying for it.
And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
There's the long-term goal. They've regressively increased the taxes on consumption by poorer people, and then that justifies taking off the income tax, which in some cases still affects them. And he also just declared that he's flipping a middle finger to the Supreme Court. He's just not going to abide by it.
And trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first.
Oh my God. The lies are just unbearable. You do not love America. You love yourself, your family businesses, and you especially love being Israel's bitch. Let's just be real about that. America comes last in this administration, period.
Decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to healthcare, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point.
Go ahead and take a good hard look, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, at what the garbage Democrats like you created in this country.
And millions from prisons, from mental institutions.
People desperately looking for any representation, taking a shot at this guy.
Came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck
Mark
of
Kelly
time.
is
now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word they just used it. Somebody gave it to them. Knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
It's not my fault. The buck doesn't stop here. It stops somewhere else.
They also got
he doesn't understand how tariffs work, but every single one of those Republicans does. Maybe not Lauren Boebert, but the others do. And they're just lying.
Their statements were a lie. They knew.
Cowards.
They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward.
You can keep saying it, brother, but it's just not going to change the prices in the supermarket.
The more he does that, the more angry Americans get because, yeah, they experience reality. You can't lie to them about their own pocketbooks.
Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago.
That's because
Nobody
we didn't
can
achieve
believe
them.
when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy. When they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another
went up
big
in the last
tax
year.
cut.
Not
I'm also
surprisingly.
confronting
Let's see what happens to
one
energy
of the
prices
biggest
once we invade
ripoffs of
Iran.
our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much
total nonsense.
Can't work. It cannot work.
Yeah, he still doesn't have a comprehensive health care plan at all. He's refusing to negotiate drug prices through Medicare. Both parties have done that. He's a total tool of big pharma.
Maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened. And now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else.
No, you're not.
I'm also
you can
ending
keep saying
the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
But we actually pay those bills, so you can keep lying to us, but it isn't going to change anything. Negotiate the goddamn prices.
I'm sure you've seen what's happening with the people who lost their subsidies for ACA, how much their prices are going up.
Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs, anywhere, the lowest price.
This is the same fraudulent trick that Joe Biden did. Joe Biden did it for one drug, promised it for 6 drugs, wow. And Trump did it with one company, no other companies. What he's saying as a blanket statement is not anywhere near true.
Should be my 3rd term, but strange things happen.
Get into the justifications
I took prescription drugs,
voter suppression. That's going to
a
come.
very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement.
We have the lowest prescription drugs in the world?
Yeah.
I've never heard a bigger lie.
Like somebody is sitting watching this, thinking about how much they just paid for their prescription, and they are getting pissed off.
.gov, and I didn't name that one either, by the way.
I have all these ass kissers to name things after me that don't work at all, but then we pretend they work. Did we trick you yet?
First customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Catherine, we are all praying for you.
And also, I can't wait to see the fact check on that specific drug price.
Mom.
By the way, so many people are going to go to Trump RX, and then
I know it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
And you know what's going to happen? They're going to be so disappointed.
It's going to be great. I'm glad that he's promoting it so people can see what a huckster he is.
Primaries are important, wrote in. My parents said that the hit they took on Medicare was far worse than the tax rewards.
Now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing I'm not sure it matters, because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is?
Right. I'm sure that'll be.
We're telling the major tech companies that they have
American
the obligation
consumers.
to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants.
He told them they have the obligation, so they'll definitely willingly pay it without being legally required.
Prices will go up, and in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially
Looking
down.
forward to that.
This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed.
Good. The self-regulate
Yeah, we do have an old grid. We have a super old grid. It'd be great if we invested some of that money that we send abroad on our own infrastructure. That would be really nice, you know, but God forbid. God forbid we do that.
No money, Anna. It has to, $500 billion has to go to the military. We don't have money for infrastructure.
You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is
my
homeownership.
vibe. I don't know who that is.
With
My
us
vibe.
tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston.
Yes.
She placed bids on 20 homes.
Who is that kid?
Mom of two?
Investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away
Whoever's the director at C-SPAN's
American
got
dream.
a sense of
It was
humor.
devastating. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up into thousands single-family homes.
We need to build housing. That's the part of the problem. We need to build.
But guys, the most important thing is these are all BS executive orders. If they were actually laws, I would be in favor of them. And in fact, Ro Khanna took that most favored nation thing and turned it into a bill. No one is backing it. No Republican or Democrat.
Exactly right.
Pass the AI electricity thing. They're not going to do it.
Not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon.
Didn't you brag earlier about how housing prices were high and getting higher?
Good.
So he's like, well, good luck with that, trying to get a home. Maybe we'll do it in 40 years.
Make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare.
Who is he kidding, man?
Oh, I mean, Medicaid too. They're protecting. He just called out.
They cut $1 trillion for Medicaid. $1 trillion.
That the solvency has been reduced by 12 years in the last year.
I mean, that's what happens when you cut funding to a tremendously popular healthcare program.
It's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
Said the guy,
I love him saying that.
Yeah, who made $1.4 billion this year while being president from incredibly corrupt foreign deals given to his sons, to the Trump organization, to his Bitcoin scam, his NFTs, the most corrupt president by a lot.
I would say lapping all the rest combined, I think.
And by the way, they're not going to pass that law. We love that law. They're not going to pass it.
Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here.
And $1,000 is hardly matching. It's like a 5% match on contributions to the 401k if you're to max it out.
Insider Trading Act without delay.
Yeah, Biden said it. Yeah, Democrats say it, Republicans say it. Somehow, magically, it never passes.
They all do it.
Mike Johnson's going to be asked in a hallway tomorrow about that, and he's going to be like, "Well, we'll see."
I wasn't sure if anybody, even on this side, was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed.
No, they're going to applaud. They know this is all BS.
When it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe.
You're Miriam Adelson's whore, literally.
2 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
That's Peter Thiel's whore.
He is an expert in fraud.
Yeah.
His entire career, his persona,
and
his marriage.
He calls in. He's like, "Yeah, I found the fraud. The cost from coming inside the house. Okay, the fraud's sitting right next to him. It's Donald Trump." And so again, these guys are all frauds. They're all corrupt. They never pass those bills.
Fraud. We will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly.
What a joke! What a joke!
500 billion extra in the military in the balanced budget.
He just added $4 trillion to the debt.
To ransacked Minnesota, remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the
exception.
That's
right in that room. Turn around and spread those cheeks for Israel. Go ahead.
Brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem.
Why are they showing Rashida Tlaib?
We are not playing games.
It has nothing to do with Somalia, nothing to do with Minnesota. They're just showing.
He was attacking Somalia right there.
No,
saying
I know.
Entire regions.
No, but why are they showing Rashida Tlaib?
I think in case they have a response or mouth something. Oh, for Rashida Tlaib, I don't know. Maybe she's sitting next to Ilhan.
Yeah, no, they're like, oh, there's another Muslim. Let's just put her on screen.
Only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up.
Okay, so this is fear-mongering against immigrants. Oh, an undocumented immigrant had a car accident, so all undocumented immigrants are bad. All right, let's use that same logic. Tom Alexandrovich is an Israeli who came here to rape our children, and then he was let go by Donald Trump back to Israel. So hence, all Israelis, oh wait, now all of a sudden you don't like this logic.
Not all of them. Seems like a lot of them, though.
No, I'm just using their logic. Obviously, that doesn't apply to all Israelis, and not all undocumented immigrants get into car crashes.
Do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
So I think that's the first proposal that he has.
This is something that he's been pushing. He got into a spat with Gavin Newsom about this because there were a lot of licenses given to people who were undocumented, and Newsom promised to roll it back or roll the policy back.
I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her.
One of the more
she found
bitter
her
faces
lying
I've
dead
seen.
in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them.
So this is Demagoguing 101, and this is playing the hits. So his base does love this, and so they eat this up. And yeah, those people were terrible human beings who did terrible things. But there's so much more crime that from natural-born Americans than there are from immigrants overall. So are natural-born Americans the worst people on earth? Of course not.
Thank you very much.
Because the crimes of that rando does not apply to all the rest of us.
Forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world.
You know, civilized invaders just buy our politicians. It's an easier way of doing it.
Right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, where is it? Oh, it's just the comment of the night. I gotta find it for you guys. Potato Gun Camper says John and Anna feel intimidated by Cenk's handsomeness.
Have cut off all
Every
funding
day.
for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off.
I'm barely even able to concentrate, Cenk.
And I'm not looking at Trump. I'm just looking at the middle window.
Same,
there. Yeah.
same.
One costing us 2 points.
I didn't want to say it.
On GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from
Yeah,
terrorists.
so you mentioned the
and
shutdown.
Tonight I'm
mention
demanding
why
the
you let the
full
shutdown
and
go on?
immediate
What he was
restoration
fighting
of all
to do?
funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in
To be fair, the director is actually trying to give you a sense of
then stand up and show
The level of energy in the room,
yeah.
First duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
And again, in the same way that he pretended not to know why the first shutdown fight happened, he's pretending not to know that it's the concern over ICE gunning down American citizens in the streets, the reason for the current one.
Melody Loves Music says, I can't stand the sound of his voice. I'd rather undergo root canals in all my teeth than willingly listen to this demented orange homunculus.
His verbal tick of reading a line that he hadn't ever read before and then just repeating it, saying, think about it, is so annoying. We heard you say it. It was in the script.
We heard you say it.
Think about it.
We heard you say it. Imtiaz Sharif, thank you for the donation. Kingdom O'Hart says, give you a lot of props for listening to this speech. It's exhausting and emotionally draining. Apparently, the representatives agree because they keep falling asleep. Seahorse Dragon says, just put all 9 of my meds into Trump RX. None are covered. I was hoping the $3,000 a month drug was mine. Oh, well.
And
First
I'm
of
sure
all,
you guys
I'm not
covered it.
laughing because that's terrible, and I'm sure you need help affording your medications. I'm laughing because of what an unbelievable liar he is and how he just plugged something that, you're right, Cenk, people are gonna go to, thinking that maybe they'll get some help with their pharmaceutical drugs, and then they're gonna realize that he took his fist and you get it.
Yeah.
I assume you guys covered that much of the actual reductions are pre-existing programs.
100%, exactly.
Kirstein FP, these are all super chats. It says Dragon Squad represent. Charlie XCX says this speech is a good test for my nausea tolerance. We'll go to Trump RX and see if that's covered.
I doubt it.
I'm so curious to see if he's going to mention the Iran speech, Iran war, and how many people are going to clap for it.
Not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Shut up and move on. You're the president of the United States. Stop being a little bitch. Jesus Christ.
Sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country.
Citizen, I think
she said. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So this is what look, man, you know.
This is the bread and circus.
Yeah, and the Republican politicians love this. They love being vicious to somebody. Like, yeah, it's all your fault, I say. Yeah, right, but you're negative 47 with independence. So what's your fault, dick?
Yeah, and all of this is him standing with the status quo when people have already turned against it. It won't play the way that it used to because people don't like what he's doing.
America Act.
So this is the voter ID thing. This is the one good thing about the filibuster, it's blocking it. But do American people it does poll well.
Speaking of fraud, Skeletor over here committed the largest Medicare fraud in US history.
Cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant.
Nonsense.
It's very
Not
simple.
rampant enough to actually
All
find
voters
examples
must show voter ID.
Let's just pass the voter ID law so these people finally realize that they're as unpopular as the, elections indicate they are. And let's move on with our lives.
All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote.
Okay.
Everyone who votes is a citizen. If you're not, you can get arrested. It's a very serious crime. In fact, a bunch of Trump supporters have gotten arrested for voter fraud.
Illness, disability, military, or travel. None.
Yeah, again, he wants to get rid of mail-in voting, which is literally how he votes.
And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%.
A little lower than that, but it does poll really well.
Great, pass it so we can stop having the same damn debate that we've been having since like 2009.
And even
God, these loser do-nothing politicians, losers, recycling the same BS nonsense year after year because they don't want to do anything.
Shovel snow, they got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a social security.
I was wondering if he was going to say.
Wow, great. Isn't that what you like?
They don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now.
And he's also pretending that one thing, which is actually about registration, not voting, which is what it says in these quotes, that's all that the bill does. When of course it doesn't. And there's tons of stuff in that bill that would not poll anywhere near as high. The stuff that's going to disenfranchise literally millions of Americans, the stuff that's going to routinely purge voter rolls, it's going to remove you, create extra hassle where you have to constantly reapply. That stuff would not poll well, which is why they don't mention that that's the bulk of what the bill is.
Why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason.
Said the guy who cheated in 2020.
They say it's racist. They come up with things you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat, they have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John.
Is this the time when he winds feelings about the 2020 election?
He already mentioned it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would now.
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy.
Great, now we're going to recycle the transgender issue, of course, the greatest hits, all sorts of nonsense that's not meant to, focus on issues that widely affect Americans. Are we going to war with Iran? Is that going to happen? Let's have a real conversation here.
Refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full
So that's the trans congresswoman.
scholarship.
I don't like this, like them showing Democrats every time he's criticizing someone, as if it's like it almost makes it feel like it's true or something.
Or it's putting them on the spot.
Yeah.
I think partly it lets them respond if they want to, but yeah, it does also. I don't know if I like it either.
Yeah, Anna's so right.
They roll this out all the time. Oh, I'm unpopular. Let me roll out the trans issue and be a demagogue on that.
As we're about to go into potentially the most consequential war of our lifetimes.
Exactly.
They're trying to distract you with this.
I just saw
15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we've been talking about that?
States are kidnapping your kids without your permission. And the kids don't want it, and they're just turning them trans. Yes, of course.
When you poll them voters, this is the #1 concern they have.
Collecting Miscellaneous says the state of our union is on life support.
It is.
Nobody says
And this
that.
is insulting.
These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
What do you show Ro Khanna?
No, this is great. Why? Ro Khanna's crazy because he wants to, have accountability for the pedophiles that run this country? Is that why? Good for Ro Khanna, actually serving the American people as opposed to having Israel's you-know-what jammed down his throat like the rest of these bitches. That's the reality.
Just in the nick of time, didn't we?
Choking on it all day. Can't get enough.
Did you get the rum?
I got the rum, yes.
No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it?
Of course, plugging the document.
Oh my God, I called her a movie star. That's like the most amazing.
Over the
She
past
knows
year,
what happens.
She has had an incredible impact championing AI
What do you think she's
legislation,
thinking about
advancing
right
a
now?
landmark executive order on
I
foster
can't believe
care
I went to that one
and helping
party.
secure $30 million
and got
to
paid by the
launch
wrong
the
guy.
Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact. Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and
Sounds like she's
Melania,
from the
thank
Hunger
you.
Games.
What does she do for them?
Is that person's name Everest Hunger a lot?
No, Evermont.
Evermont. Okay.
I don't know.
Wait, I don't know how were their lives positively impacted by Melania?
Maybe they
Did
were
I miss it?
negatively. Maybe they were targeted by deepfakes.
Aren't deepfakes still allowed?
Hell, their favorite AI service lets you produce them even of kids. But supposedly Melania wants to fight against that.
Oh, she wants to.
The first 4 years, and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in
I'm
God.
gonna talk about Erica Kirk.
tremendous.
Boomer Drunken Cat said at least Melania has to suffer through this too. Small favor. By the way, they're like, Melania's protecting the kids. She's the only one in the government, really. The rest of us are protecting the predators.
This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy.
What happened to Charlie Kirk? How's that investigation going?
Yeah. They said the killer not only assembled and disassembled the rifle, but got undressed on the roof and put on new clothes. Did he?
And martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
It comes across as very fake.
And now
you don't have to act. Just be a normal person. Just be a normal person.
She did the I miss you thing twice, just in case the camera missed it the first time.
By the way, it's hypothetically
Stop looking at the ceiling. It's very creepy. Just stop. Just stop doing that. Just be a normal person. Just grieve like a normal person. Stop acting. That's why people think there's something fishy going on when you do this.
In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Yeah, we should. We should reject political violence of any kind. I agree.
So, I mean, look, Candace Owens criticized her so much for smiling that she might be, laying it out a little thicker with the grief.
She did that from the very beginning. I was excusing it at first, but it comes across as disingenuous and fake, and it's weird.
Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zaretska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal set free to kill in America. Came in through open borders.
Did he?
Mrs. Zaretska tonight.
I don't think he immigrated here. I think he was an American. And honestly, he should have been in prison. He had been arrested multiple times before for serious crimes, and for whatever reason, they wouldn't keep him locked up, and that's a problem. So these unforced errors, I think Democrats need to learn from, honestly.
Do you think he'll mention the guy that he pardoned after January 6th who went out and sexually abused kids? Multiple have done that, but another guy was just
no, I know.
Again,
some of them have gone on to kill people.
Yeah. There's been a lot of criminals.
Not surprisingly, they were in jail for a violent attack.
Exactly.
And importantly, that they stay there.
Salt of the Union said it's true. I got kidnapped and trans 3 times this week.
Kidnapped and trans.
Yeah, trans is now my new favorite word. Progressive Fossil Fuel said, I'm going to live vicariously through TRT's sarcasm and satire tonight.
Law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success. New Orleans, Louisiana, big success. And our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen?
EP Sahad, thank you for joining by hitting that beautiful join button below. Acoustics Minor and Rage Rock for now, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. You guys are awesome.
Now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago.
Murders are down. That's true.
Murders were going down before. Crime spiked between 2019 and 2023 and has been heading down ever since.
And you saw New York City also had significantly lower crime.
Brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country.
Shouldn't have been in
Afghanistan. Because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like her.
Is she going to do every crime in the country?
No, but honestly, like,
it's the people that they don't like are killing you, and you need to stop them. That's
100%.
their message.
And
John
I feel
Cowan.
so bad for, I feel horrible for these parents and for all the victims. I also feel horrible watching them being used. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The props, I can't stand it. John Cowan says, from the man who pardoned a major drug lord.
Sorry.
That's a great point, John.
A great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying. And after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melanie? She turned out to be right.
Patrick is saying, writes, and I'm still waiting to hear something that's going to actually affect me positively. And Patrick, you're right. I mean, we have this like horror show, and then there was blood everywhere, and then that person was killed, and that person was run over, and it's all the Democrats' fault. Don't think about the bad economy and the high prices and the fact that we're about to go into a war. By the way, we're now an hour and 15 into the speech, an hour and 25 from when it was supposed to start, and we haven't even gotten to foreign policy yet. Oh boy. Now, on a lighter note, Michael Rosamilla says, look at Vance's face. Did Trump poop his pants? Rio Hans says, anyone else wondering what Vance seems to be lost in thought about? Definitely zoning out every now and then, LOL.
The most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death.
Okay, we got
on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do.
I do know there is one type of victim of crime in that room that is not going to be acknowledged by the president.
Nice to see you. Thanks,
the Epstein
Andrew.
survivors that were brought.
Thank you very much.
The whole vote experience are not going to be talked about.
Yeah. And then there was blood everywhere, and his arm was hanging off, and the bone was out. And all right. Anyway, so go ahead, Anna.
No, I was just going to say raping minors for Israel's blackmail is totally okay, according to the Trump administration.
So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late, great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart.
You know when they made fun of John Kerry for having Purple Hearts? But anyway, this brother 100% deserves it. And bless his heart, that's not the issue. Vijay says, bruh, is it World War III tomorrow or do I go to work?
Yeah, what is this? This is a waste of time.
Total waste of time. John C. Fry says, per the Heritage Foundation election fraud map, only 1,481 cases since 2000. So that's 26 years, 350 million people in the country, and they barely have over 1,000 cases of it. So that is microscopic. So that whole section on fraud was ironically fraudulent, okay, voter fraud.
And that's according to the Heritage Foundation?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Samantha C says, I agree with Anna. Ms. Kirk looks like she's acting hurt and like she's thinking, how can I make more money off this? That's Samantha's opinion.
Safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. My first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny?
Isn't it funny? No, it's not funny.
Or true.
Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and
35
Serbia,
million people said that same line.
Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia.
Oh, he ended Israel and Iran's war.
Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Which he was part of.
Stay the F out of Armenia, please.
And of course, the war in Gaza, which proceeds.
The genocide that continues in Gaza, where innocent people are being slaughtered by, your John, Israel, of course.
Thank you, Steve.
Spread them nice. Spread it for Israel.
Do you think that after they bomb Iran and then they end it, he'll start counting these 2 wars?
They're giving a standing ovation to Jared Kushner. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more vomitous.
This is how petty authoritarian states function. You worship the families.
Yeah.
And you venerate the military, literally constantly. This is how this ideology functions.
Secretary of State.
That little girl is all of us.
Thank you,
And the Secretary of State for Israel, Marco Rubio, who was bribed legally by Larry Ellison, $5 million put into a super PAC once he was approved for Israel. That's a literal story from Dropsite News. AIPAC Tracker also has $1 million, minimum of $6 million for Israel. That's why we're about to invade Iran for Israel, because guys like him are bought.
He was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job.
Yeah, Democrats approved him because they knew.
I think he'll go down as the best ever.
Yeah, more uniparty slop.
Yeah.
Thank you for the reminder.
Marek, thank you for the contribution on Super Chat. Mom Bojum writes, I've been following you all since the Iraq War. We've seen this movie before. GOP loved Bush Jr. until Trump told them not to. Idolization still continues.
Has been returned home. Can you believe it? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead, and those parents
the hostage
who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do. Going through bodies all over.
Bodies all over.
Passing
interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
100
Who killed all those bodies?
Sometimes
All those
with each
human
one that they
beings?
found.
No, those bodies don't matter, of course.
And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28.
Dig up all that territory to build resorts and condos and everything. Do you think they're going to acknowledge the tens or hundreds of thousands of bodies that they find?
Of the 28, they were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job.
And now is the part where he's going to mention the 20,000 dead Palestinian children, right? Or the well over 71,000 Palestinians dead already, the ones under the rubble, the 53% of Gaza that Israel stole.
The killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president.
Right.
It's right now.
It continues.
It's right now. You're president now, and the war is right now.
There was that one window. Day one, he could have stopped it then. It was too late.
That's why
He's mulling a brand new war as we speak that he should be talking about, but instead he's wasting our time.
Obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil.
Oh, great. So then
we're done.
You obliterated their nuclear capability. So what are we having a debate about?
They just showed Steve Witkoff, who's like, no, tomorrow they're gonna have to
We eliminated their nuclear program. That's why we're invading them tomorrow, because of their nuclear program. By the way, that's literal. I had 2 debates in the last 2 days where they said we have to invade them because of their nuclear program.
Obtain a nuclear weapon, many decades since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago. The regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate.
So this is the part where they try
They've
to justify
killed
the
and
war.
maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people.
Right.
With what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb.
That's not true. The Saudis were the kings.
And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb.
No, our Sunni Saudi allies funded the Iraqi Sunni insurgency, and they did massive damage to those
the last
IEDs.
couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protesters.
What a joke.
32,000 protesters
Totally
in their own country.
So we're going to go ahead and bomb Iran and kill more of them.
We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America.
Made up, not true at all.
After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again.
If you obliterated the nuclear sites, how are they building nuclear weapons? Do you think we're stupid?
Ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon.
They've said it a million times. Okay, so if you're just, instead of lying to us, just give it to us straight. That you are Israel's bitch, and you are gonna squander America's blood and treasure to fight yet another one of Israel's wars. Just be honest. Give it to us straight.
You see a bunch of Democrats rise for the...
Yeah, because they're garbage, okay? This is what we talk about when we talk about the Uniparty. Those people should be voted out. Get the F out of here.
To have a nuclear weapon, can't let that happen.
No, I wish they did have a nuclear weapon, because we wouldn't be having a conversation about going to a war that we should not be fighting, that we should not be involved in.
Guys, he just said we wiped out their nuclear program and said we can't allow them to have a nuclear weapon. That's why we have to go to war again. Yeah. Well, which one is it, brother? Which one is it?
Never doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong.
We have a lot of choices.
Because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective.
Never been effective. It's a total lie. It's peace is war. It's Orwellian. And there is no nuclear program anymore. And this is the same load of crap that they sold us on Iraq. Oh, weapons of mass destruction.
Thanks to a Republican in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason.
The toilets don't even
Because, as I
work on
said,
the
we have more
USS Gerald
jobs, more
Ford.
people working today than ever
Like, let that
before
sink
the
in.
history of our
$1 trillion a
so
year on the
happy right
military.
countries, our friends and allies. they
Lindsey
are.
Graham
They're
just
our
literally
friends.
licked his
They're
lips
allies.
over
Just
war. Did you see that?
At my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military
Look at how
defense
happy
rather
he
than
is.
the 2%, which they weren't paying.
sickens
We
me.
were paying
Guaranteed
almost
you
all
can't
of
stand
it.
up on camera right now.
Now they're paying 5 as
More
opposed to not
comfort.
paying 2.
Yeah, notice he said the trillion number. He hasn't yet said the extra 500 billion. He might
And getting
realize that that's not going to play well with the American
which
people
everyone
right now.
said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5% then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently.
Charlie writes in, all right, I'm ready for the Bad Bunny intermission. I'm just winning too much, apparently. Jeremy says, love you all, TYT. I was trying to fact check Trump. Too many lies. Keep up the great work, TYT.
Received a warrior dividend of $1,776.
Quite a dividend.
Yeah, that'd be great if it was true, but he hasn't given them that money. The other day he forgot the lies that he made up, and they said, hey, weren't the tariffs supposed to get you $2,000 for every American?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, maybe it was 1776. No, that's the warrior dividend.
Yeah. And
Different
what about
lie.
the Doge refund that we were supposed to get?
That was supposed to be
It's all just
5,000.
lies.
$1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute, for $1 more we can have $1,776. It's going to. I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more, I said $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it, so we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And
They haven't got it.
we call it 1776. It was great. And we love
They're
our
thanking you
military.
for
We
a
love
thing
our
they
law
didn't get.
enforcement.
He's
We love
such a
our
liar.
firemen.
They had tears in their eyes as they did it. Big, strong
We love
men.
our firemen.
They wanted to kiss
We're
him. He
also-
wasn't interested.
That's Christy Nome, of course, and we're wondering where Corey Lewandowski is, probably right behind her. Susie Wiles, the campaign, the chief of staff, is sitting next to her.
We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs,
Bonnie has an
terrorism,
insane
and
smile on her face.
foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
No, good. More things are terrorists, weapons of mass destruction, different reasons for us to invade people, kill people.
With our new military,
Maybe spare a moment to consider why so many Americans are addicted to fentanyl to begin with. Maybe spare a moment to use some of our taxpayer money and our resources on rehabilitation centers, actually tackling the issue, you know?
very seriously.
It's fun to take out a cartel leader, but at the end of the day, it doesn't actually solve the problem. We've taken out cartel leaders in the past. Mexico has taken out cartel leaders in the past. I got news for you, cartels are still a thing.
In January,
I heard you see Al Green's sign apparently said black people aren't apes on it. That's what the guy ripped out of his hands. Evidently having a problem with that message.
In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched, they saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. No, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force is my baby. As we did that, my baby is becoming so important.
PYT's Petty Good Army says murders down, but white-collar crimes are through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Many offenders find work and or live in the White House.
And find pardons.
Yeah, legendary number, epic number of pardons for white-collar fraud cases and shutting down fraud departments in the government.
Those are his people. Them and pedophiles, of course, who he sees to really want to provide cover for.
Outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
Why do they keep showing Elizabeth Warren? And why is she crying? And does that photographer know he's in the shot?
And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of
Iran's foreign minister tweeted, "We will never have a nuclear weapon," hours before the State of the Union.
Delcy Rodriguez to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down.
This is like The Price is Right. Enrique, come on down!
I'm giving you a medal.
You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
What did Enrique do again?
Some Venezuelans.
Yeah. It is good to see that when they actually want to, they can get people out of prisons in Central and Latin America that shouldn't be there.
When they want to.
When they want to.
Yeah. And now we will be bringing you Nicolas Maduro, everybody. We put him in a Hannibal Lecter outfit. And we're going to wheel him in on a cart.
Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique.
Yeah. Could you get Tom Alexandrovich back from Israel so we could try him in Nevada?
Those pedophile rapists are okay in Trump's book.
Heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good?
We'll find out in Iran.
While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, 2 machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. Probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs.
Unbelievable.
Of the bullets, and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle.
Here we go again, blood.
Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy. Eric and Amy, come on in.
Come on down, Eric and Amy, covered in blood, everybody. Legs shattered, unbelievable. He looked like he was a guy telling a story in a senior citizen center, and everybody else had gone to bed, and he's still talking.
Yeah, also, why is it come on in? Why didn't they let them see the beginning of the speech? You didn't have room?
I know you've been sitting outside. We wouldn't let you in. But now I need you to come on down. Always wanted to be Bob Barker. That's what people don't know. Progressive Fossil Fuel wrote in, I'm checking on a Fox chat now and then. MAGA's there, but also dissent more than I thought.
Yes, yes. Come on, my fellow Americans.
Hey, is that Tom Brady? Multifaceted.
That guy's a good-looking guy, but Tom Brady's hotter.
Wow.
He's
Strong
hot.
words.
Sorry.
So Kate,
It needs to be said. Well, my husband's the hottest, obviously, by a lot.
In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
By the end, it's going to be like, all right, now, Susie, come on down, and you're getting an award for Parks and Rec. Okay, it's our nation's 48th largest honor, but we decided that we were going to go past midnight tonight.
I get all of this is like a constant, we're giving medals, medals, medals. America's great, we're doing great thing, and that's all wonderful, all these individual cases. But do you think that it's really bothering him seeing all these other people get medals and awards and he doesn't get one?
Who knows?
No, but John, be fair. He couldn't get those medals in Vietnam because he had those bone spurs.
Yeah, those bone spurs were pretty bad.
Yeah, on like one of the feet, or maybe both.
Yeah.
Maybe they can't remember.
Doesn't affect golf though. Golf grass, very soft.
Yeah.
Cradles the bone spur as you walk around 18 holes.
Okay, listen, this brother, I'm so glad he survived and fantastic and all that. But the mission was highly illegal. We kidnapped someone as a leader, and total violation of international law, gunboat diplomacy, wild, wild west. At some point, if you keep doing that, it comes back to bite you. He's way too overconfident because of how quick the Venezuela and original Iran missions were, but it looks like the next one's not going to be that quick.
Met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of our fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House. And Eric will be there.
Now, here's a real story from a veteran. Rapp says, I served on 3 aircraft carriers. Not only did we have problems with the toilets, but we drank, ate, and bathed in jet fuel. There was so much fuel in the water, you'd rather drink a soda than drink the water. So that goes to your point about how the toilets aren't working on the Gerald Ford.
When it comes to our military spending, it's so important to understand how little of it goes toward our troops, to our soldiers, to them getting pay raises, to them getting better, safer, military equipment, working toilets. Like, it's just
one last living legend to honor before we go.
Politicians do not respect our troops.
And Trump less than basically all the rest.
Aviator, Navy fighter pilot, Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime. Legendary.
Here comes another description, long description.
Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war.
He fought in World War II. The dude is a hero.
Outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor.
Okay, there we go. By the end, they're going to be giving away Ginsu knives. All right.
Everybody, look under your chair.
I'll take a set.
Tony Hepple wrote in, is this what it's like being stuck at a table with Trump as a dinner guest at Mar-a-Lago? Maybe his speeches should be classified as a weapon of mass destruction if he can subject so many of us to this torture. Cornelius Poindexter said, there's not a single message of hope anywhere in this speech. Also, Nancy Pelosi can't fight to release the Epstein files, but she can wear a badge that says to release them. I can't stand the Democratic Party. Good point, Cornelius. Did nothing while she was in charge to release the files, but all of a sudden wearing pins. Okay, got it. Dave Mill says, the US can't afford to be the global police any longer. We need to pay down our debt. Michael Cotavelli says, just read reporting that IDF General Amir Avivi is claiming Iran is producing chemical and biological warheads on ballistic missiles.
Yeah.
Total fabrication, utter fabrication. The same false intelligence on weapons of mass destruction that Israel fed us before the Iraq war, so we would attack Iraq. That was their #1 enemy at the time.
Yeah.
So look, guys, this whole pomp and circumstance around the speech, I mean, like all these people, he's a wonderful guy, all the veterans are great, etc. But this is all just like avoiding the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is we might start Iraq 2.0 tomorrow or tonight, right? Yeah. We've got 1/3 of our fleet in the Persian Gulf, and this guy's whistling past the graveyard, right? So what is this? You should be trying to justify the war with Iran if you're going to go into war. You barely did any of that. You just gave a couple.
They just said they're bad. They've done bad things.
Oh, they're bad. Oh, yeah. But North Korea is bad, and they have 60 nukes. And by the way, when Trump first got into office in his first term, North Korea had 0 nukes. But now they have 60, yet there's no talk of weapon of mass destruction there because that one is real. And of course, the #1 reason is because North Korea is not next to Israel. So we don't actually care about weapons of mass destruction. It's a giant lie. We don't care about nukes at all. North Korea is way more unstable than Iran, and we let them build all those nukes and didn't do a damn thing about it because it's about Israel. It's not about weapons of mass destruction.
I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing.
By the way, obviously, you mentioned he was never going to talk about Epstein here, but I have to imagine that there are quite a number of Republicans frustrated, like especially young Republicans, frustrated with his handling of the files that were hoping he's got to say something. He's got to reassure me that he's taking it seriously. And they'll have watched this entire thing and they will be very disappointed that he doesn't care and he's not going to address it.
No, there's no way he's going to address it, though. That's a false hope.
I know, but I think there's still probably some MAGA people that hope against hope that he's been bungling it, but they'll do something.
It's really a mere moment in the eye of history. 2 of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago. 100 years before that, on July Fourth, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered the world's mightiest industries, shattered history's monstrous tyrannies, and we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel, and then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride.
That was back in the day. Now we defend Israeli soldiers as they gang rape Palestinian hostages in prisons.
American culture.
That's what we do now.
And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Oh, thank God it's over. Okay.
By the way, so he broke his record.
Yeah.
He's going to do that every year, just to be clear. He's not going to suddenly give a 1 hour one.
And his record earlier was in 2019, 1 hour and 22 minutes.
No, I believe his last one was an hour 39.
Oh, I see. But that was technically not a State of the Union.
Sure.
Right. And so he went about a minute 50 here. I'm sorry, an hour 50. I think in the last State of the Union, he's going to just keep going so that the next president can't come in. Okay, that's
okay. Time to do our analysis, right?
And here we go. Let's.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Look at how bent over he is.
No, we don't need
He's
to.
He's looking older and older. Anyways, okay, let's do it. Let's do the analysis. Actually, first, before we get going, just a quick shout out to all these beautiful folks: Ryan Barna, VJ5, Dustin O'Cross, Jeremy 23. Thank you all for joining by hitting the join button below. We love you for that. Appreciate you. Happy Warrior Dragon. Thank you for gifting us up on Twitch. And what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna do analysis of the speech and then we're gonna take a break. And for the members, I'm gonna do my State of the Union. It'll be, trust me, way shorter than that, and right to the point of all the things that are wrong in the country. All right, now let's get started on the analysis. So Donald Trump just had a State of the Union, and it was long and boring with goofy things like he always does. It was a big, beautiful helicopter invading Venezuela. There were many troops. All right, just get to the goddamn point, right? And then he bragged about nonsensical things like, we were gonna give $17.75 to the troops. And then I said, why not add $1, make it $17.76? Imagine Obama like being excited about that. I added the $1 and I made it a cuter number, right? So why is he doing that? Why am I starting with that? Because guys, this was a lot of fluff and emptiness in the speech. We've got a third of our fleet sitting in the Persian Gulf ready to go to war with Iran. That would be a more disastrous war than Iraq. We have no plan for who's going to take over, even if we were able to kill the Ayatollah. This war is totally for Israel and not discussed almost at all in this speech, glided right past it, didn't mention the Epstein files, made up a bunch of numbers about the economy, and as he always does, and we told you in our play-by-play of it, all the different things that he was making up. There really isn't much to brag about right now. So he basically did a marketing spiel for like the first hour and a half, which was about domestic policy. And since the prices are higher and people are struggling with it, and he's minus 27 in approval rating, which is a disaster, he was just like, oh, I'll just do marketing and I'll market my way out of this. Oh my God, this is the greatest economy the country's ever had. Everybody's super rich. There's no problems at all. And the Dow's above 50,000, the Dow. And he bragged about the stock market. And like, did we get any closer to finding out if we're gonna go to war with Iran? No, not really. And to me, like, this whole thing is theater that's nonsense. None of those guys actually run the country. The Israeli lobby runs the country. So maybe we should have Netanyahu give the State of the Union. But this was a dull speech filled with like misinformation. That's not surprising. That's what he normally does. But really, it was it was more ineffective than usual, because in the old days, his guys at least loved him. So that was 40% of the country or something, and they'd believe everything he said and they'd be so excited. But now it feels like the balloon's out of the, the air's out of the balloon. But it felt like those guys, the Republicans in Congress, didn't understand that at all, right? And they were like, oh my God, things are going great. No, everybody hates what's going on. Trump is at minus 47 with independents, and they're partying like it's 1999, like they won. In fact, he kept saying like, oh, we won and won, we're winning so much, people love how much we're winning. Then why are you minus 27 in approval rating? Can you acknowledge reality for once in your life? And of course he couldn't. So what he did with the rest of the speech was, and then there's Bobby, and he was covered in blood, and it was someone we don't like. And so we did hit him, and we did bad things to him. And now there was Susie, she was covered in blood, okay? And then we did bad things to the person who covered her in blood, yeah. And then every time C-SPAN would go to like Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib, and they're looking at like, what the hell's going on here, right? And attacking people, as he always says. But I thought it was, and by the way, guys, we give credit where credit is due, and we separate out policy and effectiveness and politics. And so often on the show, we've told you, as much as Trump might drive you crazy, politically, some of the stuff that he did, pretending to be a populist, etc., was very effective. And we told you when it was effective. And in fact, we warned you that he might win the 2 elections that he won because we were worried that it was effective. This was not that. This was totally ineffective and dull, and I don't think that it's gonna help him at all. Anna, what do you think?
I think that our country and normal American working class people continue to struggle, and there was absolutely nothing in that speech that made it clear to me that Trump either lives in this reality that Americans are facing or even gives a damn about the reality that Americans are facing. He talked about how he banned institutional investors from buying up residential real estate, which is nonsense. That would need to be passed through Congress, and Congress overwhelmingly rejected the idea of passing that type of legislation. Simply because Trump says he's gonna do something doesn't mean that he actually did it. In fact, he usually doesn't do what he claims he's gonna do on behalf of working class Americans. Our country is now drowning in $40 trillion in debt. The situation is going to be made much worse as we continue this military buildup in the Persian Gulf and potentially have a sustained military campaign against Iran that does not benefit the American people in any way, shape, or form. It could potentially risk the lives of our soldiers in the region who are based in the Middle East. But focusing on, Americans domestically and what they're experiencing with their finances, you want to brag about the economy. Why don't you talk a little bit about the fact that Americans are experiencing record debt, personal debt, credit card debt, no end in sight when it comes to relief. Obviously, our healthcare is even more expensive now that the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act have expired, thanks to the Republican members of Congress who refused to extend them. The ridiculous notion that Trump has lowered pharmaceutical drug prices is just demonstrably untrue, and you can check for yourselves. Don't take my word for it. Log on to his platform where he alleges that you can get your pharmaceutical drugs for much less. It's just not true. I am at a point in my life where I understand the Americans who voted for Trump in 2016 because they were genuinely under the impression that he was America first. I do not want to get involved in foreign entanglements. I think we do need to focus on our country. But here's the problem. Trump is not representative of a politician who actually gives a damn about the United States. He has raped and pillaged this country of its resources. He has used the office of the presidency to enrich himself and will continue to do so. And when you look at our deficit, meaning the amount that we are overspending above what we're bringing in revenue, it continues to explode under the Trump administration, meaning that our national debt will continue to grow faster and faster. We're already spending $1 trillion a year servicing our national debt. It's only gonna get worse. We need a real leader. And for me, a real leader is someone who's willing to stand up and say, I am against the Zionists. No more money for Israel, no more foreign entanglements, no more nonsense in the Middle East. We're gonna focus on the United States. We're gonna use these resources, not on foreign aid for Israel, but on building our infrastructure here in the US. That's what the focus should be. Trump is never gonna do it, guys, and neither are these stanky ass corporate Democrats who have disappointed us time and time again. It's time to have higher standards, and we need to see proof that a politician is willing to give Israel the middle finger and focus his or her attention on the United States, on the American people, because we freaking deserve it. That's my take. Go ahead.
Yeah, before I get to John, real quick, a couple of numbers to back up what Anna's saying. So we added $4 trillion to the debt through the giant tax cuts that he bragged about in the speech. He is now talking about, hey, $1 trillion in the defense budget is not enough. Before they were talking about cutting it, now they've added tremendously to it. Now he's proposing to add another $500 billion on top to make it $1.5 trillion, even though they have never passed an audit. That money is going to slush funds and pork while we're drowning in debt. We spent $8 trillion on the global war on Israel's enemies. And so Trump has added at least 12 trillion to a $38 trillion debt. There's no end in sight. They're not even talking about balancing the budget. It's an economic nightmare, and that's gonna explode on us. This war is gonna explode on us, but back to John now.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. And I remember the months last year that Republicans had discovered, like how Trump discovered the word affordability, they discovered waste, fraud, and abuse, thanks to Elon Musk, and they were so focused on getting rid of it. And now they're just gonna add $500 billion to the military budget. You mentioned earlier the Republican response, how they didn't seem to get it. They're all cheering and everything. And I think Trump doesn't get how mad people are. I think the Republicans in the room don't care because they've already gotten everything they need. They got their tax cuts that benefit them personally, and more importantly, benefit far more their donors. And they're permanent. Like, it's unlikely the Democrats are going to get rid of them. And even if they do, it's gonna take literally years. And now, the midterms are gonna go bad for the Republicans. That might be bad for Donald Trump. But for the vast majority of the Republicans in that room who are not gonna lose their seats and will find themselves in the minority, who the hell cares? I'm sure that's a load off their back because now there's no more obligation for them to actually do anything. They got the only legislation they actually care about, and now they can just sit fat and happy for the next couple of years.
We can't keep moving forward the way we've been moving forward, John, right? Like the typical, like, oh, let's wait and hopefully we can have a candidate that we slightly liked, and maybe if we vote for
I don't find that utterly acceptable at all. But I'm saying the Republicans do not care if there's only 200 of them after this, because they got what they wanted. Now, for Donald Trump, there is a speech he could have given that I think could have actually done as much as any State of the Union could do to turn his numbers around. But unfortunately, everything about him, like to the cellular level, and certainly everything of his brain, he cannot take responsibility. He cannot own up to the failings. He just won't do it. And so, like regular Republicans who are watching that are gonna soak up all of the propaganda, the jingoism and all that, the medals here and medals there and all that, and they're probably gonna like it. It's gonna feel good. Some of those were feel-good stories of people overcoming terrible circumstances and being covered in blood and all that stuff. And they're gonna feel good about it. But the issue is that then they're gonna go to sleep and they're gonna wake up and they're still not gonna be able to afford a house. And they're not gonna be able to afford their medical insurance. And it isn't gonna matter who got the Medal of Freedom if they can't afford anything. And if they're falling behind it, they have no hope that their kids are gonna do better than they were. And then they're gonna think about it, oh my God, not only did Donald Trump not actually solve the problems and didn't even seem to acknowledge them in the State of the Union, he also spit in my face saying, oh, we're so tired of winning, we're winning too much, oh, can we slow down on the winning? Everything's great, golden age this and American glory that. And the person who cannot afford anything and their credit card debt is continually going up is gonna feel, I think, justifiably enraged by the display that they saw. And I don't think, like I was thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs while I was watching that. If things are like okay, then not actually addressing the real problems that remain and just giving me like, oh, immigrants are bad and hey, look at this guy, he did a great thing, he gets a medal. Maybe that's a good distraction or can sustain me. But when I am struggling to survive, I do not care about that stuff. It's not as effective as it used to be, and it hasn't been as effective as it used to be for literally months. Donald Trump has been telling those lies about gas being $1.99 for the better part of half a year at this point. It's never been true, and people don't seem to be buying it because his numbers keep slipping. Just yelling it louder and with some energy, I don't see how that as a strategy could possibly work. I think that this is actually gonna hurt him.
Yeah, so let me just follow up on a couple of things that were said. So John mentioned the lies and how it doesn't help. Well, and you mentioned during the speech that he said, oh, and I cut taxes on your Social Security, except they didn't. So then if you're, have Social Security, you know that. Is that lie still gonna work for you? Then one of our viewers looked up the 9 drugs he's taken on Trump RX, because what we said during the speech is you can go look up your drugs on Trump RX, it's not gonna be covered. Just like Joe Biden, he covered a tiny amount of drugs and pretends that he solves the problem, when in reality, we still can't negotiate drug prices. That's why they're sky high. And we're all paying a fortune for them. Just doing marketing and blobbity blah doesn't solve any of these problems. Housing prices, he said, I'm not going to bring them down. He bragged about how high they were and how he's going to keep them up. People are furious about housing prices. So he's almost rubbing it in their face. That's not gonna help at all. And then another one of our viewers and our members, and I love doing the show with you guys, went to the Fox chat to check in on MAGA, and they came back and reported they're not that happy. A lot of dissent in that chat, which you would have never seen in a Fox News chat as Trump was speaking before, and that's why we keep telling you, look, he's minus 27 underwater in favorability, minus 47 with independence. You can't BS your way out of that. Okay, I want to go back and I want to mention the 2 elephants in the room to close, but first, some great points by some of you guys out there. The Capricorn 11 said on Super Chat, sundowner babble. That is like a perfect description. You should be here. That is great. I wish we had said that, right? That's exactly what it felt like. I said during the speech that he looked like a guy at a senior citizen center who was still telling a story, but everybody else had gone to bed. And he just didn't realize he's telling that same story for the 18th time. They're so bored by it. He's like leaning on the podium and he's like, no, I tell you, there was blood everywhere. Where's the hockey team? Come on down. And I was like, dude, everybody already went home, okay? And then, so finally, our members on YouTube, Rim954 said, Hakeem Jeffries looks very well rested from doing absolutely nothing.
True.
He did, he looked great.
Preach.
Okay, that's also true. Intuitive, and then another member had written in earlier, Nancy Pelosi has the Epstein file pin on, as if like, you were the Speaker of the House, why don't you release the files? So we're equal opportunity here. We're not interested in any of the politicians' BS. Intuitive Co says, so the strategy is to show American honor related to war. They are creating an image of what happens after this upcoming Iranian war will not go the way they are making it seem. So that's a terrific point. And I think that the reason why I give away the Purple Heart and the Medal of Honor and this military guy and that military guy was to set the stage without talking about the Iran war at length or justifying it at all, because there is no American interest there at all. That's why he couldn't even make anything up. Made up the talk about he's like, yeah, we destroyed their nuclear program. 30 seconds later, he's like, we need to destroy their nuclear program. The same fraudulent weapons of mass destruction, horse crap we were fed in Iraq. So that brings me to the conclusion, which is two giant elephants in the room that were really not addressed. It's the only thing that anybody really cared about, and he barely talked about one and didn't talk about the other at all. The Epstein files are just sitting there, right? Like a foul stench in the air. And the only person who noticed it was JD Vance, apparently, because the whole speech is like, and people were wondering what he was smelling or whatever. Mike Johnson has that like little choir boy look. Oh my God, really, right? But of course he's not gonna talk about the Epstein files, but why is that so important? Other than the fact that it's, pedophiles who are protected by our government, it gives us a sense of, oh, we're not in charge of our government. Because the right wing, the left wing, and every other kind of wing wants those files released, and Trump under no circumstances wants them released. And the other giant elephant in the room was the fact that really are the countries run by Israel, so the whole speech is irrelevant. We're just gonna do whatever Israel wants, including this disastrous war in Iran.
I have to say one final thing about your point on the Epstein files. Look, I have taken a tremendous amount of heat for speaking out against crime, especially in liberal cities, and I don't regret it one bit, but it's really hard to take Trump's statements about crime seriously when he has engaged in a cover-up of one of the largest crime-related scandals in American history. Okay, people literally raping our children, and he is providing cover for them. Yep. So while I do absolutely take crime seriously, and I think that Democrats engaged in unforced errors during the Biden administration by allowing repeat of violent offenders out over and over and over again, it pales in comparison to what we've seen from Trump and his DOJ when it comes to the Epstein files, the cover up, the heavy redactions, the lies about how no files actually exist. And then it turns out, no, actually there are millions of files. Yeah. So, well, he is a charlatan, okay? And so is Pam Bondi and the rest of the ghouls in this administration who do not care about the American people or our troops. So we should be clear about that, and we should demand more of our politicians, because make no mistake about it, we don't work for them. They're supposed to work for us, period. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Okay, I apologize. Yeah, I think that there were a lot of things that people have very serious concerns about, and he didn't even pretend to really address their concerns. Exactly. The affordability stuff he just denied. He said food prices are going down. No, actually, there was back in October, I think it was the highest food-related inflation in 1 month since 2022. He's just pretending it. People's concerns about DHS and about these federal agents gunning people down, didn't even pretend to understand it.
Of course,
didn't want to reassure anyone on that. Just the idea that even amongst a lot of MAGA, that he's just too focused on foreign policy in other countries. He talked about it a bunch and how great it is that we're doing all this stuff and we're gonna spend another $500 billion so that we can send a Chinook into Venezuela or whatever, and it'll be awesome. Again, I don't think did anything to reassure people about that. And the many people, and lots of them are conservatives who are concerned about us handling the Epstein files, he did literally nothing to reassure them. And in fact, if they're suspicious that it's a cover up, not mentioning it does a pretty good job of confirming that it is.
Yeah, great point.
And so, yeah, just all of these areas, again, it's unforced errors. There's a way to address it, potentially, something super dishonest, propagandistic or whatever, but he didn't even do that.
Yeah, I'll end the summary on the fourth person in the room, Edwin, our stage manager. We had that great line the other night. He said, they seem obsessed with the stock market when we're worried about the supermarket.
Ooh,
and
that's pretty good.
And it's totally true. And the supermarket was not addressed here, other than just more and more lies, just trying to get you to believe the prices are down when they're up. And the AI apocalypse hasn't hit yet, the Iran war hasn't hit yet. So he said it, things are gonna get better and better and better. I'm pretty worried that they're not. And then that line will probably be used in ads later as things get worse and worse and worse. So tonight was not reassuring, and the State of the Union is not strong. Okay. So before we go, that's our summary, and I am going to do a State of the Union for the members in a minute. So hit the join button below on YouTube or tyt.com/join. Mine will be much quicker and much more honest.
Will there be a lot of blood?
I don't know, but I do want to get a couple of these comments in that you guys sent in because they're fantastic. It's a tip of the iceberg, but Los24 says, but Cenk, did you see the Dow? Little Max Corner says, thank you, it's been a fun night. Persfani says, it's exhausting me in America these days. The gaslighting, the lies, pedophilia, murders, wars, rapes, Nuremberg trials is prayer in the end. High Value Productions with a really interesting story. It's part of why I wanted to read a couple more. I worked for the corrupt Congressman Corey Mills as his political consultant. I'm now a Dem, 29, living in exile in Morocco. I'm tired of these hypocrites using our military as props to hide behind their own failures.
Preach it.
Yeah, here, couldn't agree more. Mystic Mac asked, is he going to honor the US servicemen of the USS Liberty?
Oh, probably not.
Not probably not, definitely not. He doesn't want to mention that at all. John C. Fry says, sorry, should have included it earlier. Heritage Foundation map shows only 100 cases of illegal immigrants voting since 2000. So that's, he put illegal in quotes there. Out of 350 million people over 25 years, only 100 cases. That is microscopic. Cassandra Drag says, Anna is so cute. I love the way you still love your husband like a teenager after so many years. We should all strive for this in our relationship. That's actually the 5th person in the room, so now everybody's been mentioned. Rod Martinez says, this is only tolerable because I'm watching here. Thank you. Jordan Macbeth, thank you for the donation. Kai speaks for all of us when he says, are they gonna go to war with Iran or nah? This is a snoozer fest and he's lying on his butt. It's also performative. They don't give a F about us.
100%.
I can't beat that, so I'm gonna end on that. All right, Anna and I, well, tomorrow's Wednesday, so yeah. Anna's gonna do the show tomorrow, 6 to 8 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday, for the Young Turks. Damage reports 1 p.m. every day. You can see it on YouTube, on tyt.com. So John's gonna do that tomorrow for you guys. And I'm gonna do the State of the Union, the actual State of the Union in a minute. So become a member right now. Members, I'll see you there. And for everyone else, we love you guys. Thanks for sharing this night with us. And even if it was painful at times, at least we shared the pain together and made it a little lighter, okay? We love you guys, we'll see you tomorrow.